43. How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. Elizabeth Barrett Browning was an English poet of the Romantic era who was born on March 6, 1806, at Coxwell Hall in Durham, England. On June 29, 1861, Elizabeth Barrett Browning passed away in Florence. Sonnet 43 is a love poem in the form of a sonnet. A sonnet is a 14-line poem with a specific rhyme scheme in meter, usually iambic pentameter. This poetry format, which forces the poet to wrap his thoughts in a small, neat package, originated in Sicily, Italy, in the 13th century with the sonetto, meaning little song, which could be read or sung to the accompaniment of a lute. English poets began writing poems in imitation of these Italian poems. They called them sonnets, a term coined from sonetto. Frequently, the theme of a sonnet was love, or a theme related to love. However, the theme also sometimes centered on religion, politics, or other topics. Poets often wrote their sonnets as part of a series, with each sonnet a sequel to the previous one. For example, William Shakespeare, 1564 to 1616, wrote a series of 154 sonnets on the theme of love. Barrett Browning wrote a series of 44 sonnets, in secret, about the intense love she felt for her husband-to-be, poet Robert Browning. She called this series Sonnets from the Portuguese, a title based on the pet name Robert gave her, My Little Portuguese. Sonnet 43 was the next to last sonnet in this series. In composing her sonnets, she had two types of sonnet formats from which to choose: the Italian model popularized by Petrarch, 1304 to 1374, and the English model popularized by Shakespeare, 1564 to 1616. She chose Petrarch's model. For an in-depth discussion and analysis of both sonnet models. In 1850, the London firm of Chapman and Hall published Sonnet 22 and the other poems in Sonnets from the Portuguese in Poems, a revision of an 1844 collection of the same name.
The poem by asking the question, how do I love thee? And responding with, let me count the ways. One may assume that the speaker is either musing out loud, as one might do when writing a letter or responding to a lover who may have posed such a question. The entire sonnet addresses this lover, thee, who may also be considered the listener. As it is known that Elizabeth Barrett Browning dedicated this poem to her husband, she is assumed to be the speaker addressing her husband. The speaker describes all the ways in which she loves her husband. Her love is multifaceted, as it can be compared to many aspects of life.
Initially, she describes her love as a powerful force of her soul, so great in extent that she attempts to measure it in three-dimensional terms. Next, she illustrates a quieter love that sustains her in her daily life, just as the light of the sun illuminates her days. She then compares her love to the experiences of mankind as a whole, portraying her love as free, pure, and humble, just as decent people strive to do good in the world without expectation of reward or praise. She then compares her love to the passionate intensity with which she once tried to overcome her past pains, as well as the way in which she believed in good things as a child. Lastly, she compares her love to what she once felt for people she used to revere but have somehow fallen out of her favor. Near the poem's conclusion, she states that her every breath, smile, and tear is a reflection of her love for her husband. The speaker concludes the sonnet by telling her husband that if God will allow her, she will love him even more after she is gone. Line 1 to 6 she starts off by addressing the topic, how do I love thee? She promises that she would list all the reasons why she loves him. She declares to her partner that she loves him with all of her heart, in all of its depths, in all of its heights. In fact, it is infinitely deep, wide, and tall that she cannot even see its edges. The speaker's love is limitless, but she also loves her beloved in normal, everyday situations. He is as essential to her as other requirements of life. Line 7 to 14 her devotion is given a natural sense of emotion by these lines. She freely loves, just as men naturally try to do what is right and good. She also loves him sincerely, just as men should praise to preserve their modesty. Like decent and just men, the speaker does not seek praise or recognition for her love. Rather, she loves because it is her duty to do so. Anything that a person strongly loathes can be considered an old grief. She is expressing to her spouse that she loves him with the same zeal that she has for other things in life that she cannot bear anymore. She also has a childlike faith in him. Children typically have genuine faith. The speaker loves her husband in the same way that a child loves their parent. In Sonnet 43, Browning explores subjects like love, loyalty, and relationships. One could categorize the poem as a love poem. She addresses Robert Browning, her husband, and says that she loves him for a variety of reasons, which she will then describe. At the poem's conclusion, when the speaker discusses how strong and long their love has been, the theme of death is introduced. The rhyme scheme of Sonnet 43 inches is as follows: lines 1 to 8, lines 9 to 14 CD, CD, CD. But the remaining 6 lines had one of the following schemes: 1. CDE, CDE, 2. CDC, CDC, or 3. CDE, DCE. The first 8 lines of a Petrarchan sonnet are called an octave. The remaining 6 lines are called a sestate. The octave presents the theme of the poem. The sestate offers a solution if there is a problem, provides an answer if there is a question, or simply presents further development of the theme. In Browning's Sonnet 43, the octave draws analogies between the poet's love and religious and political ideals. The sestate draws analogies between the intense love she experienced earlier in her life. Then it says that she will love her husband to be even more after death, God permitting. Sonnet 43 meter. Sonnet 43 is in iambic pentameter, 10 syllables, or 5 feet, per line with 5 pairs of unstressed and stressed syllables, as lines 2 and 3 of the poem demonstrate.